What's up, people of the internet? My name is Sarah, and welcome to Real Week. Real Week is basically we can talk about the realness behind we don't know what we're doing. We're going to be doing this every other month, so we'll have Screw It Week, 1 month, and then Real Week, another month, and, flip-flop. Every other month we do one, and, you get the picture. For this Screw It Week, I'm going to be talking about being a military kid. One of the not as bad parts about being a military kid is being asked where you're from. I've lived in Alabama, Okinawa, Virginia, Germany, England, and Alaska in my lifetime. And I can say I have no idea which one I consider my home. If I went by where I was born, Alabama, but I've only lived there for a year. It's actually the place I lived in the least. Longest, it was actually a few months, and then we went back after England for a year. No, after Germany for a year. And my favorite place to live was England. I can answer with that one, but I'm not British, so I'm not from England. Or I can answer the place I lived the longest, which is here, Alaska, but I'm not Alaskan. I think the simplest answer for where are you from to a military kid is planet Earth, because I have no idea where I'm from. And on that, it's not really knowing a place to call home. Most people will go, oh yeah, my home's Nevada. It's where I've lived all my life. That's such an odd concept to me personally, because I've only lived in my place for 2 years. It's here, 2.5, working on 3 here. 3 years is gonna be the longest I've ever lived in a place, ever, my whole life. 13 years of life, and I've only lived in a place for this longest of 2.5 years. One of the, qualifications of being a military child is you have to be outgoing. If you don't make that step, you don't make that effort to get to talk to people, you're basically not going to have any friends, because you're always the new kid. Every year, it's like, oh, who's that kid? Only there for a year. There's no point in making friends. You're just going to be plucked out of that environment and thrown into a new one across the world. When I lived in England, I had 2 friends, and my neighborhood was full of kids, and everyone knew everyone, and we all hung out all the time. We had like a campfire, and once a month, and it was amazing, and it was such a good community. But all of us, I lived in a neighborhood where most of the people there were military, and we all knew what it was like to not really have a community, The concept of my childhood best friend or my childhood home. My childhood best friend? I don't have one. A couple of friends, but not one I've had for a very, very long time. Childhood home? You kidding me? I've lived in so many houses. Gone to so many schools. I've met so many people. But that's pretty good. And that's the good part. You meet so many people who understand you, and you can immediately bond with a military child. 2 military people can immediately bond. Be like, oh, where you've lived, and you can go into a full-blown conversation, what they've experienced, and if you meet a same military person, you're gonna have a fun conversation. It's gonna be amazing, and you're gonna discuss about where you've traveled and traveling. Oh my gosh, do I not like traveling. I love and hate traveling. Traveling has always been there. It's like a regular basis. Like if you go fishing, it's like me traveling like every weekend. When we lived in England, literally every weekend we went somewhere. I've spent Thanksgiving in Africa. I spent Thanksgiving in Budapest and Prague. I went Christmas. Christmas is normally in the States with our family, but you're so far away from your family if you're overseas. Pretty much all my family lives in either Texas or Alabama. My mom's in Texas, my dad's in Alabama. And we rarely get to see them. I have a cousin who was born when I was in England, and I've only seen them like 3 times ever. saw them when they were a little baby, and then we went there and they were 4, and it was so amazing because I was like, when did you grow up? I'm not even your parent, and I'm like, I feel like I'm missing your childhood, and it's being so far away, it's kind of sad, but they get to experience things. Like my whole family, like they never really go anywhere. They don't really go anywhere, and they only go places to come visit us because we're all over the world. And one time we went on a trip to Paris with my whole family, with a bunch of my dad's families. My dad has 5 siblings, so you can imagine how hectic that was in Paris. We did this thing called roll call. Where's Richard? Is he with you? Because they have an underground station, or a subway, what do they call it? It's a tube system. And I mean, being a military kid sucks. Being a military kid's awesome. That's my real week with you. My little rant about that. Look at this white strip. It's the sunlight. See, if I open the curtains all the way, this is what would happen. It'd just be white as heck. Oh my gosh. So look how ridiculous that is. It's very bright. Not a good idea. I gotta close this before I blind myself. This is not a good idea. There we go. I have to go because I was supposed to take my dog on a walk, which I didn't do. I hope you enjoyed this real talk with me. Bye.